Thokozani, I'm Poverty and I welcome you to my channel. Today I'll be talking about how our ancestors communicate with us or rather relay messages to us. And they use various forms to do that. It's a matter of you being able to be, to listen or being open to listen or to hear or rather to get the message. So commonly used is dreams, right? Basically, receiving messages from the spirit world means that your spirit being needs to be connected to your spiritual self. And that means your spirituality. So you basically need to be aligned in a way so that you can get and rather receive the messages. So some people go through a spiritual awakening due to the urgency of spiritual matters and all those other things, unaware that all this time they have been receiving messages. And people will always expect, when you talk about spiritual awakening, they always talk about the third eye concept and everything of that sort. And what I want to make a bit more uncomplicated is that messages come in different forms, and you having your third eye opened, nakona also has its dynamics, has its different levels. It's not just when we talk of the third eye, we're talking of you seeing things. There are ways of seeing things. It's not just about having your third eye opened when we put it in context. So dreams are one of a very important space whereby Amadlozi use, because they prefer that, because when you're sleeping, your body, your physical body is at rest and you are less distracted, and you are able to get and receive messages from the spirit side. That is why mesilele, we dream. That is important. You dream, and dreams can come in any form, in any shape, and anyhow. There are dreams whereby they are vivid. There are dreams whereby you get direct messages. You get direct communication. There are dreams that need you to, whereby we have the whole dream translation things. And sometimes you need to be spiritually inclined for you to sometimes understand or rather hear the message for yourself. Secondly, they used visions. You get people that, for example, you'll be sitting with a person, and then for 1 minute they're like zoomed out. They're looking at a particular place and they see whatever they see, or they see with their inner self. Their inner self, like, kind of has an out of body experience and shows everything that's been happening. For example, they will use the analogy of a third eye, but it's deeper than that. You get to see things by just thinking of something, because everything is energy and everything is spiritual. So visions can come in many forms. And then we have your deja vus. This is happening again, this is, those are also other ways where we are being contacted or rather being communicated with. And we have some a physical, how can I put it, we have it's not your body, there's a buffering in your body. That's what I call it, when your ancestors want to communicate with you. Sometimes there are people who go into a trance. That is when ubasedlozini, and you ubasedlozini and all these other aspects. But sometimes ubasedlozini, it's not always messages for me, me the person on nedlozi. It's always messages for anyone else around you. And we also have where people get cold feet. There's a spirit present when you get a cold feet, or rather you feel it's extra cold in a place, or rather you feel cold yourself. There's always energy. That normally happens to me more than often. And another thing is okay, I experience is that whenever I interact with energy, being it spirit or sometimes someone that has not yet crossed over, I normally have, it's not a panic attack, but I just shake, like my body shakes and my hands and my palms get sweaty. It's like I'm going for this big interview and I know someone needs me to give them my attention. And then we have the headaches. There are people that suffer from headaches, and the reason why I always say the headaches, it's because your ancestors basically put a ngizothini, a virus in your connection to the physical world. So mosuke mhlambe uphathwa ekhanda, suke kungena i-information, you are downloading but you are unaware. Suke kungena information and sometimes you download and you're not aware, and in the later stage that information is revealed to you, or at that particular time it is revealed to you, ne? So headaches, they play that role. And I, mina ngugogo-ke owesineifu, so when that thing or other time comes, I just isolate myself and I know Guti, I need to attend to my people. And then voices, voices can be voices in your head, voices you can hear directly, voices you can, utterances of any sort. They are your ways that ancestors can communicate with us, because I always get gogonya pasha, but how do my ancestors they can use any medium. And sometimes, like I was elaborating in my previous video, Uguti, yeah, people there's rely on your ancestors. Sometimes they come to you, amadlozi akho, in any form. They come, for example, you'll uzabe uhleli and someone shows up and gives you a message you've been, and in most cases it's normally, I always call them stray ancestors. They just come, these old people, you don't have not seen this man, you have not seen this woman, and they come, this old magogo amkule, and tells you 1 2 3 and then leaves. Sometimes amahlanya and abantu esibabizwa ukuthi amahlanga, we see them in the street, you find you'd be just having a weird conversation with, and it's all these elements are contact, like Nzotini, they trying to communicate with us because we are so in tune with the physical world that we have detached so much from the spiritual. So those are some of the ways, or rather things, they use to communicate Nati as Abantu. And then that is why because not everyone can always be in a trance, then you get whereby the people use water, candles, bones, and all these other elements. So, but what I want to emphasize is that ancestors are always communicating with us. They are spirit. They are everywhere. They're always there. Sometimes you'd be thinking of something and ubone ngathi, "Ah, man, I was thinking about this just now," and it's because everything, your thoughts, everything, it's spiritual. Everything is spiritual. That's why once you are a spiritual person, they isolate you by force from the physical world so that you can be glued in and tuned in, and then your connection can be very, very, very high standard, so that you're able to receive messages from them at all times. So it's very important to understand that our ancestors are coming, because remember, Labantes Batwasayo, Badala, we are talking ancient of ancient. Yes, I may look young, but the person that has called me to the office, our Wabatung, is very old, older than old itself. So they sometimes kunabantu that are always have this expectation yokuthi when you say phahla, you're expecting your grandfather to come to you uhleli in the during the day. They do come, but they use all these elements engizibalile mhlambe ezinye angizibalanga, because I know there are some people that abanye they ngizothini bayafeinta, they faint, I don't know, or sometimes they go into a deep sleep. Sometimes that happens. Abanye, they go into a deep sleep at work. Thank God it doesn't happen while driving, but they go into a deep sleep, and sometimes it's not even you sleeping, it's just your spirit is tired of this body and it just leaves, and goes in to attend the certain matters of the spirit world. So that's why I'm saying, Hore, you need to open yourself up to spirituality and understand, Guti, it's not all bad like how people make it seem, and ukuthi izinto zamadlozi are long and draining and a long process. It's not. It just needs you to open yourself up, and that's why Hey! Idlozi always expects you to be pure, because you need to be able to receive these messages. You can't be 1 2 3 and the next thing expect all of these things. So that is why some people go through extensive measures to get communication from their ancestors. And sometimes when your ancestors do not communicate with you, it's not because they don't love you or they have nothing to say at that particular time. I mean, they cannot be like, you need to sort yourself out. Sometimes you always point ukuthi amadlozi to this and this, but have you done some self introspection? Have you been doing things properly? Have you been doing that? Have you been doing this? Have you been doing that? And that is why spiritual people are moody. That's why some spiritual people are moody. That's why they like to be isolated. I, for one, don't like crowded spaces. When I go to malls or all these places, I come back drained, because once you understand that life is spiritual and everything is spiritual, you start to look at things differently. You start to feel differently. That is why even with interacting with people, it drains you as a spiritual person, because everything is energy. You remember, you have your Wi-Fi, which is your ancestors, and then you meet Nami, and Nama have my Wi-Fi, and boo boo boo. It just, the system is just one. So it's a lot. So sometimes it's important to give your spirit the attention it needs, so that it can also be able, because when you stay long periods of not giving your spirit attention, or isn't njalo, your spirit goes into a drop. And what I mean, when it goes into a drop, you have feelings of sorrow, feelings of, oh, life is bad, feel all these emptiness feelings. That is when your spirit is crying for attention, or your spiritualness, is crying for attention. So you need to always uplift yourself, because it's got its spiritual highs and its spiritual lows. You need to always navigate yourself within everything, and it's not easy. It's not easy. I don't want to lie. It's never been easy, and it's not easy. You just need to be disciplined as a person and know yourself, because we're not gifted ngokufana. We don't have the same gifts. We don't have the same roles. But once you sit down with yourself and understand who you are, everything begins to make sense, because we're fulfilling different roles. We're on different journeys. It's important to understand zonke lezo zinto lezo, that this is why my life is different. That's why once you begin a spiritual journey, impilo yakho iyachinja. You now feel kunezinto zasemhlabeni, and then there's you. And when you try to fit in, you always feel like, oh, you're sticking out. It's normal. It's part of everything. So be open to receiving messages from your ancestors, and always be open to communicating with your ancestors. Maintain a relationship with your ancestors. Unga maintain a relationship wena mawucela or ukhala or uwenzani. Treat your gift as your life, because it is. Once you look at things like this, you won't even feel the need. You know they are always with you 24/7. So I hope I have shed a bit of light, that all our ancestors are always around us. They're always watching, they're always listening, and they always want to relay messages to us. Sometimes even warnings. You feel you wanna go somewhere and jiggy jiggy, I Elsa Hambi, you are tired. That is your people communicating with you. Guti, hlala mugel. Even you get delayed, you become late, and all these other things. It's not a bad thing. Life is spiritual. Life is spiritual. So anyway, I hope this video was informative. I am Thokozani.